Izayaki and Fearless.
Yeah. Pain.
Versus or
Junkrat versus Izayaki on Echo. That was really fun.
no way. Ah, no.
Peak rank 80 or something.
Wait,
or
what was the
finished
name?
Rank 80. I don't remember. I'll have to see once.
All right, okay. All right, shoot me the code. How you been, mate?
Pretty good. I mean, besides this is my worst loss of the season, but then I went 5-1, so I've been doing really good, honestly.
We take it. Ilios, yeah?
Yeah. I think this meta is pretty good for me.
You're just a horse abuser.
No. I've actually played Diva the most. My Diva's been disgusting.
Yeah. Fearless on Sojourn. Dizzian. This name does sound familiar. Wait a second. Dizzian Overwatch. I swear I know this person or know of this person. Yeah. Wait. Uh-oh. Okay, this isn't good. Oh no. Let me check your DMs. Junkrat players, man.
Dude, I was low-key nervous. I don't get nervous for shit. I was kind of nervous. I definitely had some
Did you see what I sent you?
Oh. What? Where?
Check that over at Discord.
Oh, shit.
Definitely a Junkrat player.
Yeah.
Alaskan Junkrat OTP 4.5. Yeah. Creator of the Junkrat Council. So I knew this name. All right, let's take a look here. Is this actually Vision as well?
He got banned for hacking? What the fuck?
Yeah. Is this Vision?
Wait, what?
Do you know if is this actually Vision as well?
Oh, I actually don't know who that is.
Okay. Oh, contenders like Saints, hit scan, DPS, really good.
I don't think so, bro. He had 0 damage the first round. So
Okay.
I doubt it.
Okay, surely. All right, let's take a look here. So Orisa, tank pressure, DPS pressure, whatever you could do. Big thing with Orisa, I think in this meta especially on the composition that you're playing versus, is just like positioning is super important, and hitting your javelins is super important, because you're not like playing AFK spam, cycle your cooldowns, right? Like you look at their composition, you're gonna get melted on anything that throws damage your way. So you got to think almost like a dive tank, right? Where like you can kind of look at Star's positioning, and while I don't necessarily think that you have to roll out cage side, Star's ability. Yeah, I think it might be worth trying and toying with, because this spot is going to be lovely if they're on like Winston and stuff, right? But if they go spam, you need to be like, you're going to have to do like this shenanigans. You know what I'm saying? Like up in here.
Really move.
Right. Especially versus their composition. I find the same thing. It's like kind of like Bastion, where it's like the hero's kind of busted, but like it sucks versus poke heroes. So you need to find a way to kind of close the distance. And I do think that toying with rollouts more might be helpful. The other thing that's bad too is if you lean this way, where's your backline going to position? Right here. Why is that bad?
They can just get spammed out.
This is why it's bad, right? Actually, he's not even leveraging it, right? But like basically versus the people that you're playing versus, this high ground is super powerful. So you need to rotate away from this high ground. You see what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Okay. But I think more for thinking just like actionable things like this, it's like you need to either spam Orisa without peeking their backline, or peek backline at like mid-short range.
Look at this.
You're a bad man. Right. I actually think he could have made it if he... Did he mess up?
I think he slid midair.
Oh, yeah, he messed up his slide. If he'd reacted a teeny bit faster, but that's actually sick. See, I will say this, though. If you could do this right here, this is better than nothing. Because you're taking essentially a 1v1, but you're doing so without peeking his backline. So this is good.
Right.
And then from here, what you could do is maybe you can get an HP advantage and then look to deep and dive Indigo. But I really don't want peeking on point. Like, do not. Like you see that? You see the problem here? Like obviously, here's the thing. You either don't peek EDI or you hit this javelin. You know what I'm saying? Because by kind of getting a little bit greedy, you miss. There's your javelin spin. Now what can you not do?
can't push anything.
Right, you can't push
my
anything.
Shift's gonna get forced.
Right. So at this point in time, you probably should just disengage.
I think I just stay in.
Yeah, see, I wouldn't even bother. Now you're dead. Like, I would just back off. Here's what I would do. Okay, so here's a little bit of a macro tip for you, okay? So whenever you get a disadvantage or a bad cooldown trade or you're down 1, what I like to do is, you know, people would always say you either play fast or play slow, right? I think it's kind of like that. You're down 1, so how do you win this fight? Are you going to kill any of these guys at all? Any chance?
No shot.
0 chance. However, you could kill who?
Izayaki in the back.
Izayaki, right? So what you do is you give up space when you have a disadvantage and see if you can hunt the angles, hunt the flanks. See if anybody will, and see if they'll overextend. Because here's the thing. You could play here and give up a lot of space, and Star's like, yo, guys, we're up 1. What should we do?
They're just going to get on the point.
Right, and then or what else could they do here, right? They get on a point, and then they're up 1, they're going to keep pushing, right? Potentially. Yeah. And then do you see how that's a good thing for you guys? Like, you can bait them into overextending a little bit. You understand? Mm-hmm. So whenever you're at a disadvantage, give up space, see if they overextend, or hunt people that are isolated. I think that's the way to go. This feels like, oh, I'm helping, but you're not helping. You're not doing anything. In fact, all you're doing is you're demanding Kiriko, basically hard pocket, getting your fortify forced, and then now you don't even have the resource to be able to help, you know, your soldier on the angle. You don't have the resource to be able to, like, if they keep pushing now, you're not going to kill them because you don't have any cooldowns. In fact, it's probably you that's going to die, right? Case in point. But yeah, I think it's that. If you lose a trade, give up a little bit of space, see if you can basically bait them, if that makes sense. And then the other thing is just to look for angles. Like, you can't do this, honestly.
We were down 1, so I just was waiting.
Yeah. It's fine as long as you don't lose a cooldown. As long as you don't lose a cooldown. And now you need it back. Because the reason why I don't mind you poking when you're down 1 as long as you don't use the cooldown is it goes back to the original macro concept I was telling you, where it's like, okay, they're up 1. What might they do?
Keep pushing.
Keep pushing. So why do you need cooldowns?
If they push.
If they push, right? Because those cooldowns are, number 1's going to like what's keep you alive, but number 2 is going to might allow you to actually trade and punish them for pushing. But for example, here, if you get your fortifiers spin forced for doing this, I mean, obviously this fight's lost, but like, let's say that you'd peaked here and used your spin. Now, all of a sudden, that if they push you, you can't necessarily punish that push as much. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And this applies to all tank heroes. It'd be the kind of like holding here and poking with right click with Winston, and then they overextend and push, and then you still have your bubble to be able to punish them. This is stupid. This is so stupid. To be honest, you don't.
I have no experience on.
It's just you just have to like look at your left. Like, look at your left, right? Look at your left. When can you push this?
When I have armor.
Right, or look at the right, right? You know, exactly. Like literally 2 seconds. 2 seconds. 2 seconds you can push this, or 3 seconds you can push this. You walk out, you javelin, you spin in, you got fortify, whatever you got. You get a little bit of healing as well. This is just dumb. Like, it's just tiny little details, right? And so now instead of pushing, you're using a cooldown to stabilize, right? You should be walking.
Makes sense.
Way too early in the fortify, honestly. Just wait here for like half a second. And then when you push, where are you pushing?
To the right.
All right, exactly. Rotate around this way. Why?
Makes the Orisa have to turn, and then she can't just spam down choke.
Exactly. Do you see this, right? So you're avoiding the Illari spam while still isolating the Orisa, and the Illari also has to worry about you wrapping around, right? So don't just stand there. Like, I appreciate that you're shooting the Illari and not the Orisa, but you could be positioning for that better as well. And now, because you're not underneath here, you're getting crossfired from 3 different locations.
Yeah.
You see that? You have to learn to isolate. Like you have to understand, like, when you're playing anchor tanks, which I know you don't have a lot of experience with, you have to position in a way to cut down on the crossfire. You can't dive the crossfire. You have to position in a way where the crossfire hits you from fewer directions. Does that make sense? Because you're still, the problem is they're like, you javelin spin, but you don't, your situation is not improved.
At all.
You're still getting crossfired. And you notice that it's like, okay, you talk about like, okay, you don't have, but you actually have a decent amount of healing here. The problem is that you're constantly taking ungodly amounts of damage.
It wasn't this round.
It wasn't this round. Okay. Okay. And then again, like two shoot, like again, your options here are what, right? We talked about it.
Wrap around the back.
Wrap around the back, or keep shooting the Orisa.
Yeah.
Because look at this. She's used gold. Now, you're going to have to probably use gold pretty soon here, too. But it's not like you're losing this trade. It's fine. I know why you push up the break turret. But, you're just never going to win that trade. Honestly, do it up. Really. You know what I'm saying? Don't just sit there on main. Rotate this way. Catch Izayaki. Clear Fearless. Find a way to... there's just so much more cover up here, right?
That's my problem with control, just in general. I think I always go main.
I think it might... Again, it kind of goes back to like your anchor take experience as well, right? How much time do you have on Ram, Ryan, Sigma? We talked about a little bit of your Ram, right?
Yeah.
But at least Ram, somehow everybody knows that the goal is to like cover and push backline, right? Because it's like the punch guy, right? But like it's the same thing with Orisa as well. It's like you might not be directly pushing backline, but you can't be peeking this kind of stuff like this. You're going to lose so many cooldowns this way. And the other problem as well is because, like you said, you're going down main, you don't sniff something out. Right?
Yeah, I think he gets a kill here too. I was wondering how he died. Yeah. I was nervous. I don't know why I speared him.
It's fine. Target focus, yeah. It's just about return on investment. Yeah, so it's a lot of so what are you seeing so far?
Playing cover better.
It's not just the cover though. Like it's the whole general play style with this character versus these range characters. That gets priority for me.
I don't remember.
It's okay. Think about it. Grind it out. Make the few brain cells you have left from playing Orisa work. Remember first fight on the well, right?
Setting up on an off angle where you can potentially pressure the backline.
Right. The overall mindset for your position when playing this character is you are either on top of spam heroes or you're hiding from spam heroes. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You are either avoiding the poke or you are on top of the poke. That's it. You are a poke tank that doesn't do very well versus poke characters. That's the irony. Because you don't have very good range and you also don't have mobility like a Winston, Diva, or Brawl to be able to like actually dive them, right? So you basically need to find a way to like play cover, like you said, more consistently, but cut down on the number of positions that can shoot you. If that makes sense. Like that should be your mindset. It's like, where can I play to where I can still shoot people or maybe like dive people, but I'm not getting permanently spammed. It could be as simple as that, right? It could be as simple as that. Like right now, you roll out. They're on Diva, but they're still running BAP, Sojourn, Echo, right? So like you're going to take a lot of damage. Now, what's the problem with your positioning right now? It's not terrible, but what's the risk?
They can kind of just surround me.
Right. Where's the BAP? Where's the Echo? Where's the Sojourn? Just use your instincts. I know you can't really see anything.
Sojourn's on the right.
Right.
And Echo's probably in the air.
Right. So do you think that there's a real risk that you take a lot of damage right now?
Yeah.
Right. Do you do a lot of damage? Right? No, not really. So then, okay, so let's zoom out and yeah, sure enough. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this is a problem. Okay, so then where do you position, right?
Probably in the room, like on the left there.
Sure, like spam the Sojourn from here, right? Because guess what? If a solo Sojourn's not scary, you can actually kind of mess her up a little bit, right? Even at range, right? But you notice that you're choosing your battles, right? And then here you could also look for a dive, look for a pressure. Do you notice also as well that from here you could spam Diva? The funny thing about Orisa is like you're actually a really good spam in the tank mirror outside of like Sigma. It's just the DPS and supports that you freaking hate, right? Like that's the thing.
Yeah.
And then also, what does this position also allow you to do? Not only does it give you like better spam angles that selectively choose, but you also have the threat of what?
Swinging to backline.
Right, swinging to backline and actually diving here. Now, the other thing too is if we want to go to like opposite extreme, you could swing javelin spin all the way over here as well. Why is this at least decent compared to where you are right now?
More cover.
More cover.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, really, you could kind of choose who you want to shoot you. Now, I don't know that I would stay here, you know, because you could get crossfired eventually. But yeah. But like even here, if you're going to take this angle, where do you need to be? Right?
Either on point or behind the...
On point, yeah. On some sort of cover, right? Nice javelin, but there's your javelin spin just because you were standing out in the open, you know? And then the problem with turning around here is what? You know? It's like you're in the Coliseum, you know? 3 different directions you're getting shot from. You need to get out of here. Good. Nice. Nice. All right, let's keep going.
There they are. Get ready.
See, this position is reasonable. Why?
There's a good amount of cover and can't really get crossfired.
Right. How close are you to that backline?
Reasonably.
Right.
Within my 20
Right.
range.
Right. So like within your effective range, right? So like you're not going to be like, oh no, I'm getting spammed out by the backline. It's like, yo, you can do just as much hurt as you take here. Like a javelin right here. Like, they see how they have to respect that, right? Like that's fine. Now here, remember where you're down 1. So let's abuse that macro concept we talked about earlier. You're down 1, you're at a disadvantage. How do you play?
Back and I guess like I have time to touch. Like they're not capping. So.
Yeah. So back and bait, right? What do you think? Who do you think you could maybe catch with the pants down right now? This isn't like a really clear answer. I just want you to think about it for a second.
Maybe someone on the high ground.
Maybe somebody in the high ground, right? See if they drop, right? See if they get a little bit too cheeky. What about Izayaki on the flank, right? You know he's going to try and touch, right? What if you disengage all the way out to here and see and hunt, and then rotate around behind and catch a support rotating the point? What if you rotate all the way back on point, anchor on point, catch Izayaki, last possible second, you disengage from point as well? But you kind of see what I'm saying. Don't stuff the choke here. Give up space and try to bait them. Okay. You're like, try to be like the psychological thing is you're a wounded animal that's trying to bait somebody into making a mistake. That's what you're doing. Careful. You know what you got to look at right now, right? Where should you be looking right now?
On the right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, come on, man. Look at this. Okay, first off, my boy, he's slowly rising up. He's coming. Yeah. Especially as he's fighting. Do you see what I'm saying about the wounded animal, though? Right? Look at these supports. Look at these guys, right? Look at the ego right now, right? Oh, let's push. These guys are killable, right? They are killable, right? Now, would it take a phenomenal mechanical performance to be able to kill them? Absolutely, but it's possible. It's possible. Yeah. Stop shooting Diva. Stop shooting Diva. Okay. I mean, he did fine, but like, okay. So I think the main thing.
We can go to a new code for the. Like,
okay. Yeah. Okay. Main thing for the Orisa. What do you sing with the Orisa? It wasn't honestly as much Orisa unique stuff, but more like general approaches. What needs to be practiced?
Yeah. Knowing how to position where it's more like a 2v1 or 1v1 where I'm playing cover to where I'm not getting cross angled by everybody.
Mm-hmm. Spam 2.
when we're down one, trying to give up space and bait them into making a mistake, overextending.
Sure.
Just trying to continue to hold space.
Bro, when down. Also, when you lose cooldown trade, give space to bait overextension. Don't force holding space that you can't hold. How did that first point from Orisa look? Position to avoid backline spam / range so that you could either spam tank or dive pressure backline in close ranges. How does that look?
Sorry, say that again.
Check your DMs. How does that look?
Oh. Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah. But yeah, I think it's the idea with the macro thing is it's just basically like you can't hold the space because you're down one. So don't sit there and die for it. Either end to end, run in really fast, see if you can catch them with the pants down, which works better for some heroes, some situations, or just give up space and see if you can catch them overextending because it'll happen all the time. I think that was mostly it with Orisa. I think like cooldown usage was fine. The bad cooldown usage was just mostly because your positioning was bad, which was forcing the cooldowns. Yeah. You know, so okay. You want to look at a new code?
Yeah. And when you're in an Orisa mirror, like, let's say we both use our spin. If they shift first, is it smart? Because I kind of treat it like goats. I don't know if this is the right way to play, but like I kind of you could probably skip to my when I go to Orisa. I think I do. But what? I thought I played Orisa on this map.
You do.
There we go. Okay.
Go ahead.
Oh, but if they shift first and they're out of gold, should I wait till their gold ends, or like I kind of sometimes I don't know if I should just wait or if I should just use it a little bit after them?
Great question, and one that requires context to answer. So here are your options. So if I am, you both spin, and this is the line. I'm here, my team's here, they're over there. Their Orisa used shift first, and she's pushing me. I'm like, oh crap. I'm going to hide or disengage and make her waste her shift, right? Yeah. Right? So what's the potential problem with that line of thinking? What did I just do?
Gave up space.
Gave up space, exactly. And honestly, you might be thinking, well, I'm not giving up space all the time. Sometimes I just don't peek. Well, actually, that's still giving up space because what are you not doing when you're not peeking?
Shooting.
You're not shooting, so you're not putting out as much pressure. So here's the question. When you're asking yourself, should I kite out, fortify, or really any, by the way, this applies to Ramatra, this applies to full Diva Matrix, Winston Bubble, whatever, okay? You should ask yourself, how much value do I give up? Or how much value is this space that I'm trying to hold? Because if the answer is, I don't really care this much about the space is not that important, then give it up and let her waste her fortify. Or don't peek and let her waste her fortify. You understand?
Yeah.
If the space is valuable and you think that like I need to be putting about pressure right now, then match your shift. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so it's less about the cooldown trade and more about you understanding the positioning that you're around on. And we'll look at, I'm sure we'll see some examples of that in here. Is it C6? Yeah. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yep. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Because it's not, people always ask me like, is it better? It's better to fortify second, right? But you see how that's a fundamentally flawed question.
Yeah.
It could be very good to fortify first, because if you fortify first and you get the space first, then maybe you just win the fight. But it depends. Is the space valuable or not, right? Because the question is, if it's better to fortify second, then why does anybody ever fortify first?
Yeah,
right? Yeah, right? It's a circular reasoning. So it's like, do you need to fortify first? Then fortify first. Don't worry about it. Just ask yourself if you could have avoided or if it was worth the space. Like right now, you walking through this choke might need to fortify first. And their Orisa can go, hey, I'm going to give up some space, guys. Let them waste fortify. Or that Orisa can go, no, guys, we need to hold this choke. I'm going to match fortify. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I like what you're doing. You're doing exactly what you didn't do in the previous round, at least in theory, because what does this position allow you to do?
You can flank around, or and you're not getting shot by multiple angles.
Yeah, or you could just shoot the tank, right?
Yeah.
And if you shoot the tank, it's a relatively neutral trade, but you know what? A neutral trade when you're on the attack is good because defender's advantage, right? Now, right now, you're 91% on cap, so I assume that you're flanking around a touch point, but I find it funny that this is actually it's actually pretty good. Because you could stand there and you could shoot the Orisa and you would be fine, right? Because it's just the Orisa. They're thinking like a dive character, you know? Do you see how much easier your life feels right now?
Yeah, definitely.
Despite this having Ashe, Bap, Sem, all these kind of spam heroes. Now, I don't know if you're going to win this.
No, hell no.
Because they've got beat and whatever. This is stupid. Don't break this habit. Do not just use Javelin Spin because it's Javelin Spin. This does...
She can just damage through it.
She damages through it, but it also does no damage. So why would you Javelin Spin, right? You're like, oh, I'm going to boop her back. Why? Who cares? Walk away. Hide behind a corner. You like sit here and then fortify and then Javelin Spin the Bap, Orisa damage, Ashe damage after the fortify is over, right? I swear, it's like people just use this ability because it's like, oh, yeah, it does something. Ticky, ticky, ticky. But that did actually nothing. Like, literally nothing. And then now you fortify late. And then you should still have your Javelin Spin right now. And you just got it now. And then again, the Javelin Spin. All right, well, right. I mean, it's like you said, it's not really meaningful for you to consider winning this fight. This fight was just GG's either way. But yeah, okay. Now... Thank you. Right. Now, it's not going to be a lot better, though, because it's a relatively open point. I want you to coach yourself here. Every detail here. Every detail. All right? Mistake number one.
Playing out in the open, I can if I'm gonna shoot the turret, especially, I can just duck and then poke out when I'm here.
Right. Reduce the amount of people that are shooting at you right there. Right. Reduce the amount. Right? The only reason, in fact, that you're not losing more HP than you are is because of this. Right. So break the turrets. Put a little pressure on the Orisa. Maybe fish for a javelin on backline, but don't peek the entire backline at this range. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, this is, I'm going to be honest with you, this is about as hard as it gets with Orisa, with what you're seeing right now. What's the problem?
They're out of my range.
So how do you solve this?
How
do you take space here?
Go around the right, potentially? Like on the stairs?
Like here?
Yeah.
Okay. What does this allow you to do?
I can shoot the tank and not take damage.
Now, what happens if Cade decides to back up? Now you can't shoot him, right?
Then I could potentially take space.
Yeah, you see it? And not only that, but if Cade backs away from this choke, what's the problem? What does that allow your backline to do?
The team can walk out.
Right, because now their Orisa's out of her effective range. You see that? And not only that, but she's also playing in the middle of nowhere. She has to back all the way back here. She has to either hold the choke where you can shoot her, or she has to back all the way over here. You see how these points are very carefully designed, right? It's balanced, right? Otherwise, if there was a big thing in the middle of this choke here, this point would be unbelievably impossible to attack, right?
Oh, yeah.
So then there you go. So you go here, you spam the Orisa. It's sequential space. 1, then step 2, and then from here, what can you do?
Work towards pressuring backline.
Right. At least here, you're a solid 5, 6, 7, 8 meters closer, so that you could maybe javelin spin to here, late fortify, light them up, right? It's an all-in, for sure, but at least it's a more educated, calculated all-in. Does that make sense?
Yep.
All right, so here, you let your gun overheat, mistake number 1. You're going to javelin spin, I assume because you really, really want to get point, but honestly, it's just not reasonable. They got there first. Sorry. So focus on winning the cooldown trade, right? You lost the cooldown trade. Gun overheats, javelin spin for nothing. You get booped back. Now she fortifies. Now, this is very important. Should you fortify right now?
Damn, I don't know.
Okay, the fact that you're hesitating is a good sign because I think the answer is not very clear.
I would say because I feel like no, because like we're not gonna be able to push yet anyways. So.
But look at your soldier.
Oh yeah, he's kind of in.
He's kind of in, right? So I think that the answer to this, could you disengage and hide behind a corner safely here? Yes. But do you see something else too?
I shouldn't already use shit. Yeah, I guess you have to hold because.
I think you have to hold it.
And Bastion can.
Yeah. You see how complicated that question is now, though, right? And you see how little of it has to do with who wins the cooldown trade in the raw Orisa mirror. It's way more important than that. It's like what's the space? Is your team committing cooldowns? How healthy? Or like if your team is 1 HP, there's no point holding Fortify. Just back up, you know. But yeah, I think right now you should probably use Fortify. But I don't think that it would be bad if you disengaged and then try to push afterwards. I think it's okay. Does that make sense? But this is what you need to be paying attention to. Don't just pay attention to Fortify for Fortify. Pay attention to, is my team committing? Is the space important? And so on.
Goats fried my brain, bro.
Yeah, but see, the thing is this mattered in Goats too. This is the higher level understanding of Goats as well. It wasn't about who bubbled first. It's about who got more space out of their bubble swing.
Yeah, well, I wasn't that good in Goats anyways.
Yeah, well, see, that's the thing though. Most people weren't that good at Goats, so they get these preconceptions about how Goats was played, but it wasn't. The other thing with Goats too is everyone's like, oh, we just group up and run it down, but that's never how high level Goats was played. He who should not be named played for the San Francisco Shock, right? The guy murdered people in Zarya by just taking angles and just burning backline over and over and over and over and over again. But yeah, anyway, okay. Yeah, I think this Fortify is good. And if you're going to Fortify, you doing this with your Fortify is excellent. Because not only are you shooting backline, but you're shooting the backline that happens to be closer to you, which is where you're going to have the most impact. Because you could look at this and be like, I could also do pretty good damage versus these guys, but I could also do very good damage versus these guys. So I'm okay with this.
You don't want to send the charge up.
Right, and look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that. Right? Forces Lucio off. Symmetra doesn't have a really good angle. I actually think that... And Sue, do you see the importance of actually using Javelin Spin for the reason it's supposed to be used? It just saved your life.
Yeah.
Now, you're still going to lose this? Maybe? No? See? That was good. Now, what should you do here? Think very carefully. You have a split second to react here. You have actually a perfect flow chart for your cooldowns right here.
Spin first, and then I'll get my Fortify.
Nope.
No?
Spin first, yes. Why?
It'll stop any spam coming my way, and I'll get my armor back.
Right. Now you need to push right now. Why?
Visor.
Visor. So you need to push. You need to push, and you need the speed, and you need to get on the backline. Spin. Right? Mm-hmm. Then what?
I can ult.
You need to ult first.
Oh, I do. I forgot. This was nasty. Let's go.
You need to spin into ultimate, and why is that order very important?
Because it gives you 2 fortifies.
Right, and then you fortify afterwards. I think it's actually better to engage with spin. It's better to engage with ult then fortify if you can, because the problem is people will fortify in, then ult, and then immediately die afterwards. But some people just use fortify for no reason before ultimate. Because like right now, you don't need fortify right now, right? You just spin in, that's all you really need. So spin, ult, then fortify afterwards to follow up on the low HP squishies. Okay, let's see what you got. But I expect this to be big.
Oh, it is. It is. Trust.
Right, because look at this. She has to use her fortify because she must hold your backline in place. But you don't need to use yours because look at how close you are to these guys. Holy moly!
Bang!
Oh, let's go! And you got the fortify afterwards. Now I want to see. Caught it. You messed up. Look what you did.
Well, I pulled them in front of the window.
No,
did I mess up?
no. Look at your cooldowns. Watch it very carefully.
Oh, I did.
What are you doing? It's not double fortify.
I think, yeah. I think this is my first time playing Orisa in COD.
That's okay. I'm messing with you. Yeah. But yeah, that's obviously not the play. Nice play though. Nice play though. You know what you did is you egoed it because you knew it was a team wipe anyway, so you didn't need it.
Yeah,
so
facts.
That's the way to go. But yeah, you're gonna have a little bit of a difficult time here. I think like obviously like your team is not quite back yet. Oh my gosh, your team is a million miles away. That's actually terrible. I feel terrible now because I was gonna think about like, you know, maybe you play here, try to avoid Ash spam tank, look for maybe a javelin. But like honestly, everything goes out the window now because you guys are gonna pick up so much space. I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be real. I would have played.
Back.
Honestly, I would have played like. Oh man, I'm trying to think. I might have even given up point, man.
Yeah, I think so too. Because I was playing control. You know, like I'm thinking we're gonna be able to get back fast.
Yeah. Because like your cooldown cycling here is fine. But like it's just the promise is that you've used all your cooldowns and you've done nothing with them except survive. You've not put out any pressure. And it's not your fault because your team is just not there. But I just don't like you see you're down both cooldowns now, and look at your life weaver and Bastion and Soldier. They're not even like we're just now fighting, and you're already dead. You know, so I think I just give up point here. I would rather give them 5, 10, 15% than guaranteed lose this fight, you know?
Yeah.
And you have zero chance of winning that fight if you do that. Okay. Again, pathing, probably the same spot, honestly. You could go left instead. Javelin needs to hit, but yeah, I mean, this is okay. My only problem with what you're doing now is you bait your life. It's more of a map-specific thing, but you bait your life weaver because your life weaver is here. Okay, I guess we're pushing here. Then you're like, okay, we're here, and then I'm gonna go here. How is your life weaver supposed to heal you?
Yeah, I guess I was thinking he was still in the choke.
But see, even if he's in the choke, how is he supposed to heal you? Like, is he gonna off? Like, there's nowhere for him to heal.
Oh, okay, yeah, I see what you're saying.
So then, what you would need to do is you need to probably commit to one of these, either far left or far left, just so that he can heal you.
Okay.
It's rough. It's a tiny little map detail, but it's the reason why. Even though this is in theory exactly, but I will say this. Okay, time out. This is good. Ignoring the stupid map stuff. Look what you did. Spun to cover. Looked at your team's positioning. Waited for HP, shot the Symmetra, javelin the Symmetra in close range, forced her out, greeted your Fortify, waited. Do you see how this is really good, fundamentally?
Yeah.
This is good. Good use of cover, the javelin needed to hit, good spin, checking your team's positioning. We love it. It's just bad for them, that's all. Now, you could Fortify here. What would you do with the Fortify here? No, okay, maybe not with life control, but...
Walk onto Ash?
Yeah. Get her out. Because again, if you think, oh, I wasted my Fortify, but you get rid of the Ash or kill the Ash or just even force her out, now all of a sudden you don't need your Fortify anymore because the person who does damage to you is gone. Mm-hmm. So get some space out of it. Wow, what is this?
Yeah, I think I get too caught up in the spin, Fortify, spin after.
Yeah, like what? I don't even know why this service is spinning, to be honest with you. I really don't know. Like why? Like what does either of these spins do? It doesn't do anything.
We're having a spin war, man.
I guess the only thing I can think is maybe we could like knock her in, but like yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I would have fortified a little earlier, put a little bit more pressure on the Ash so that there was less follow up and yeah. Okay. Let's go back and edit our original message here and like let's add a couple other things. What are some other things? I guess it's mostly the positioning thing, but did you see anything else?
When knowing when to use shift to hold space, like it doesn't matter when.
Fortify trade.
It doesn't matter who uses it first. It matters if it's used to hold valuable space, and if it's not valuable space, you can give up positioning and then go in after.
About who uses it to hold push space better. Because like if you think about that last fight right there, if you use that Fortify and you get the Ash off of high ground and then they beat engage, you're going to feel a lot less sad about not having your Fortify, even though you used it first. So it's about what value got out of the cooldown. And okay, if you really want to be super technical about it, for a lot of cooldowns, it's actually better to use it first because you get it back faster. So if you can
Yeah,
get
that's
full,
something I was thinking about too.
if you get full value out of a cooldown, the sooner you use it, the better. Now the question is are you going to get full value out of it? I don't know. That's a balance you have to aim for, but it's not so simple as that. But yeah. Okay. Any questions?
Oh, I did it. Let me check my notes. I wrote
Sure.
something earlier.
I guess I'd also. Oh, one more thing. Just keep an eye on your spins.
Yeah.
It's as simple as like, did this do anything? Yes, no. I think that's just something you want to keep an eye on.
Is this is unrelated to Orisa, but
That's fine.
is it worth it's probably not worth playing dive when you have an Ilari, right? Because there's just you have basically one healer from lane. Like I feel like a lot of times I can't move anywhere, and it kind of makes it.
I would say look at your second support.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
If you have Winston Diva, if you have an Ana, then yes, you can play Winston Diva just fine. Because the thing about Illaria is that like, yeah, she can't heal you, but she can also like take her own angles and like help you. Remember, the whole point of dive is like to take space and to hold space and like you utilize your mobility, right? Illaria is like, she's very mobile, so she won't be able to heal you, but she'll be able to help you hold space.
Right.
So I would rather play dive with an Illaria than I would with like a Moira or a Mercy personally. Well, maybe Moira can kind of do anything, but definitely more than a Mercy for sure. Just because I don't have to worry about babysitting an Illaria and she can kind of do her own thing. So I would say Illaria will help you literally 0 for healing, but she can help you hold space. So look at your second support. If it's Ana, you're good to go.
Okay, cool. Good to know.
Yeah. I will say outside of Ana, kind of rough.
Yeah, I noticed that. I'd like
kind of rough.
I think it was like Life Weaver Ilari or some shit.
Yeah, because like even like a Kiriko will have a hard time keeping you up as Winston if you don't have like a Brig or a Moira or something else. Like yeah, it's gonna be tough. It's doable. It's just I would pay more attention to the map.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Any other questions?
No, I'm all good.
All right, man.